for that case, because we were not equipped to handle it, we suggested to them to the Ministry of Women Affairs, and I believe they did, and it's being handled. So cerebral palsy is the commonest cause of neurodisability in children, and that is why the Straight Child Foundation is interested in that. And clawfoot is the commonest musculoskeletal deformity, and it is available. You have heard about that. It's easily available. So we are committed to that. So we are committed to that. On these pictures, here is Uche Madeke, a little older than I am. So I think she turned 50 not too long ago. But she's a teacher. And that was because she had parents who were committed to bringing her up to live beyond her disabilities. One of the times that she came around and we talked, she said that her mother was not permitted to feel bad or to feel different because of her condition. And I'll tell us this story. When she came, I think that was in 2018 or 2019, I took her back to the airport when she was going back to Abuja. She lived in Jos. And this young man at the airport, Uche requested for a wheelchair, just, to assist because she had her luggage, to make it easier for her. And the young man looked at her and looked at me and said, if you're not traveling with her, I'm not giving her a wheelchair. So I was still trying to explain nicely. Uche said, no, Dr. Peace, don't worry. Let me talk to him. He is ignorant. Uche finished him. Is the ignorance that actually makes people to discriminate against these ones. This is Chimne Cherem. Chimne Cherem was one of the first patients that we saw. She had clawfoot. The mother had a deformity in her upper limb, and they were poor. But she came because she believed help has come. And somehow, we told her because of the age of Chimne Cherem, Ponseti treatment, which the support we have from Miracle Fit covers, would not be enough. She would probably need some surgery. And, the love of a mother. Mama Chimne Cherem said that she did not have money, but that she could save 5,000 at a time, 1,000 at another time, little by little what she had. And by the time she saved, I can't remember how much it was, Uche was in charge because Uche was from their neighboring community. We went to the hospital and we told the MD to please assist us. This mother would want the child's feet to be corrected. We did not have enough support to cater for that, but she was committed. And we got all the support we needed. She had her surgery, and you can see that she wore normal shoes here. And she could go back to school and feel normal. And when the mother came back, the mother was like the woman of Samaria that would go to the village to tell everybody. She was actively looking for people whose feet were deformed. And she would say, come, I'll take you where they took care of Chimne Cherem. And that's actually a wonderful story that we're always happy to share. So a disability is an impairment in body function or structure. It's also a limitation in activity or a restriction in participation. So we can actually appreciate that all of us may be disabled one way or the other. Like I am financially disabled, but I know I have support because there are people I could call upon. But these children have the impairments in other ways. Their challenges are so many. In school, at home, in the society largely. I thank God Abia State has actually become a different state because sometimes someone told me that these children were useless, that there was no point wasting my time on them. And that was someone that I looked up to, someone that was highly placed, that I thought would have had the milk of motherhood to be kind to them. They have accessibility problems. They are often excluded, stigmatized, and that could lead to mental health issues, depression, you know, and stuff like that. And their parents are not left out, because many times the parents are not able to work. There is a banker that for a long time she kept asking, can't you make your organization, can't you have a form of residence for these children? Because she was finding it difficult to cope with her job as a banker. And you know, when you have these children, there are children that you have, when you go to church, people take them over from you. You only take them, in fact, you'll be looking for your child, because if care is not taken, he will go from one hand to the other. But when you have a child who is physically challenged, you are stuck with a child. Nobody wants to help you. So it's difficult for them to actually do other things. So they need all the help that they can get. We were inaugurated on the 21st of November because we needed a platform. And like someone said, you can create the future that you hope for. So we decided to start off something that would, there are other causes of disability, there are other deformities, and we looked at the child as a whole. So we started with awareness improvement activities about CP, radio talks. We had a radio program with Flo FM for about 18 months. And at that time, you know, many people would say they looked forward to listening to Life Beyond Limits on Flo FM from 7 a.m. We also had other activities like special Children's Day events. You know that when you have activities, most times it costs the children some crafts. So you see, like the disability is a spectrum. There are some who may be able to do things, and if they are taught to do these things, it would actually be good for them and good for the society. And this was the visit of when we started our partnership with Miracle Fit. The young man here was Nura Rajarisin. He came from Miracle Fit. Miracle Fit is an NGO in the United States. They are focused on clawfoot. So they support us to make clawfoot care accessible to children around here at no cost. And the introduction to Miracle Fit was made by a friend and a mentor, Dr. Joshua Hyman. He's a professor of pediatric orthopedics in New York. And one of the visits that I had with him, he asked me the challenges that I faced with my patients with clawfoot, and I shared with him, and he made the introduction. And the first clinics were in Abia State. Of course, it's natural that I should start from where I am. Now we support up to 22 clinics across 11 states, the South states, and Kogi State in the North Central. Thank you. So far, more than 3,500 children have been enrolled for clawfoot treatment. And like you heard, it's actually at 330 healthcare workers have been trained in the basic and advanced Ponseti courses. We've had early detection and referral. So this is the Nigerian clawfoot strategic map. Like I said, we started with Miracle Fit. But over time, Miracle Fit now has 4 other partners that cover other states of Nigeria. But this is where we cover. Our last 2 years, the State Child Foundation, going by the assessments of the clinics that we supervise, their clawfoot clinics, we've been awarded for quality service, which shows that the services that are offered are globally of a global standard. I thought about the awareness program that we had. We have regular parent support group meetings. Sometimes we give them palliatives, because sometimes they actually come because they are expecting, yes, they know you are interested in caring for their children, but they also wish that you could also do, and the special Children's Day events that we have every year. The August Boot Camp, where different health workers come together to attend to these children. We tried out a day center where we told parents for a whole week, we told parents to bring their children so that we'll try out how it would look. For us to actually do that, we'll need the support of the government, maybe through the Women Affairs ministry or any other ministry that would do that. But we really need support to be able to do that. But it's been on our hearts from the inception to have an ability rehabilitation center that will be like a one-stop place that should cater to every aspect of these children in terms of their health, their mental status, social, teaching them vocational skills for those who can afford that, having physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and every form of therapy that they would need. And, you know, like the story in Mark chapter 2, I think that, you know, cerebral palsy. Okay, recently somebody invited me to their church to talk to the women at their women convention, and she said, you can say something about CP. And I wondered, what would I say in church about CP? It was difficult to imagine. But I now said on Google, is cerebral palsy in the Bible? And from the things that I saw, I imagined that that man in Mark chapter 2, the one that the friends lifted, was probably someone who had cerebral palsy. But he had friends who could lift him, friends who were committed to seeing that he was like them. So their dream was to see him walk and be like them in that sense. And they took him. They were not deterred by any obstacle, not the crowd, not the full house. They were willing to take off somebody's roof. That's like looking for trouble, but that showed the extent of the commitment, the dedication they had to helping their friends. And I told myself that I should be this dedicated, and I'm sure that there are people here who would also be this dedicated, so that we would be able to do what we can to help the child living with disability in our environment. And implementation of the Disability Act has started in Abia State, and that is wonderful. So we are looking to having a healthy environment for the children to play, to learn, and to grow. And if it's possible, we would want it to be residential, so that it will enable more parents to have some free time and facilitate socioeconomic empowerment for those people. We desire to have volunteers and workers. We are also hoping, because the support that we have from Miracle Feet currently is just for Ponseti treatment, which is non-operative and works very well for babies, maybe sometimes up to 5 years of age. But there are the older children who may require surgery, and we do not yet have a regular support for them. We are asking for that kind of support. And in the last 2 weeks, it was my birthday, and one of the things that kept ringing in my mind, next year I will be 50. What if we set out on a journey to have 50 children who have deformities, have their deformity surgeries taken care of as a way to celebrate? It's not something that we can do on our own, but we believe that we'll have the organization for our programs. We would welcome that donation from anybody that, you know, is touched to do that. So we are open to a lifetime collaboration or partnership, a one-time donation if that's what you are led to, grants and funding for specific programs, maybe people giving monthly, quarterly, or annual commitments and saying, I will support this work with this on a regular basis. In any way that you want to support, we are actually welcome. We are happy to receive that, and that's why we called you here to celebrate with us this afternoon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I think the burden bearer deserves a better round of applause. She has touched on so many areas, but particularly on the need for us to be dedicated. And I'm sure one is asking, how can we get to be dedicated to this cause? Of course, through the donations expected of us to make today and other forms of support of love that will come to this foundation. And on that note, would like to move on to the next item, which will be to cut the anniversary cake. Please, it will be nice if we can have that table moved to the center.
Can we go to the stage? Yes. Fine, better here.
We also have liquid contents before us. It will also be nice to have them in our cups, whichever one that goes well. All right, for the cake cutting, I'd like to let me invite the chairman of the Straight Child Foundation, and please come and lead your people to the cake stand. Of course, the president, BOT, will be joining. Onyeze Faraday will be joining us. The representative of the chairman for today's occasion will also be joining us. MD Chukwuebuka Hospital, please join us. The chairman, Disabilities Commission, please join us. And of course, when we're all settled, we would have the representative of the First Lady join. Are we good to go? Members of the board, please. And of course, Dr. Barrister Agocha, please join. Thank you. Of course, to handle this particular assignment will be Mrs. Uchenna Dada, called Dada. Which one? Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me respectfully invite the First Lady of this great state, Abia, Mrs. Priscilla Chidima Oti, here represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs, Dr. Mrs. Maureen Aokwa, to join us. Where is Mrs. Uchenna? Thank you, ma'am. Uchechi, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. Well, looking at the cake, the color combination is so nice. Off-white. I know white signifies so many things, like peace, new beginning, and the green, life. So, and we know why we are here. Once you hear of cake cutting, it's a sign of celebration and oneness. We have a particular reason for being here. The major one, to support children with disability. So we'll cut the cake by, well, I've been warned before now here though, that you don't cut cake with the name of Jesus, because it's so high and mighty for us to use and cut cake. So we'll cut the cake by taking the short form of the Straight Child Foundation. Yeah, so we'll start at the spelling of the Straight Child Foundation. Once we get to the letter F, we'll cut the cake. So give me the letter T, S, C, and F.
All right, thank you very much. You may go back to your seats while we prepare for the toast. Like I said earlier, fill your glasses with wine, water, any of the liquid contents. And to perform that assignment is no less a personality than Dr. Barrister Agcha for the toast. Doc, where is your own cup?
Children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs. A lonely place to be, and so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all.
Let me start by, I hope you have your cups. Anyway, as the process is going on, let me use the opportunity to emphasize or to re-echo what others have said. Just a few minutes ago, before the arrival of the government team, I went to the founder and asked, I have not felt the presence of the government, that since you are since you are actually serving as a helper, they should take the lead. And her response was that they are coming. So, and not too long a time, her first lady's entourage came in. And I said it's like the biblical saying that even after 4 days, after the death of Lazarus, and it was still, what is the response? So it came, it just like, it occurred as and when due. So I'm happy that the government is fully represented here, because the foundation is serving as a burden bearer, trying to assist the government, in actually with what in most civilized societies they have taken time to give preference to these people with special need. I dislike calling them people disabled. No. I'm very happy that the various speakers have chosen to address it, people with special need, because actually they are not disabled. If you give them what it takes, they will perform like any one of us. So that choice of word, people with special need, and I hope that we are all here to give them that potential or the opportunity to meet their own whatever is their life dream. So I hope the cups are filled. Okay. Taking cognizance of the fact that this is the 80th celebration of Straight Child Foundation, that is, having sojourned with us for 8 years, they have highlighted some of the achievements and more so taking a lead in directing our attention that these people with us need our support in order to achieve their own dreams. And I believe that Straight Child Foundation has made it possible and still has created an avenue for all of us to queue in terms of looking at what can we do to make this dream or to actualize this dream. And I'm happy the founder highlighted some of the areas that we can come in as individuals, collectively, and as government representatives. I think she was quite clear about that. And we all appreciate the fact that no one person can go it all alone. It is our collective responsibility to do that. And on that note, let us shower 8 BOSA to the Straight Child Foundation, having stayed with us for good 8 years with records of achievement, putting smiles on the face of many who would have otherwise turned out to be something honorable, so noble, an idea, the establishment of Straight Child Foundation, and having actually established their feet and leading us to achieve this aim. Can we rise up and say, to the glory of God, the Straight Child Foundation has come to stay and has touched all of us in our minds to channel or direct our minds towards how we can be of assistance to people around us with special needs. And to that effect, glory be to God. And let us now join and say, BOSA, 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 BOSA. Thank God, and to God be the glory.
Please feel free, clink your glasses.